Right now, we want to spotlight a powerful way that you can give back. Next week, the PS3 Casino Night will raise awareness about a serious heart condition that affects young athletes. The night supports a life-saving cause, funding automated external defibrillators, or AEDs, with proceeds going to the Preston Settles Memorial Foundation. I recently had the chance to learn more about Preston's story and the lasting impact his life is making.
This is Preston. The summer before he started at Brooks, and he was on his friend's boat. He and his friend loved to fish together. He had broken a bone in his hand and was just, of course, like, Mom, I'm going to be totally fine. I'm going to be fine to start football. Well, that was Preston. It'll be fine, Mom.
Yeah.
Always positive, always positive. February 5th, 2022, we went to Preston's basketball game. We're sitting on the sidelines chatting with parents of one of Preston's friends, and my husband noticed that Preston was out of his seat on the ground, and my husband said, Preston's on the ground. So, and he hadn't gotten up. So I ran around to the other side, and Preston was sort of posturing and moving his arms in movements that looked like a seizure.
They were coming from my hockey game, so like I didn't really even want to go because it was like we had a long weekend or something, and so I didn't want to go. I was like, oh, they're dragging me to this game. My brother and I had made plans later that night, like I was gonna drive him somewhere. And I remember just like when it happened, like I was sitting next to my parents. We were like across, like diagonal from where he was. They went over when he collapsed, and I was just like, oh, like he's just joking around, like he's fine. I was sitting next to this woman, and she was like, no, like I think you need to go over there, like I think something's wrong. As a mom first and a doctor second, but as a combination, I was thinking, oh my gosh, he's having a seizure. There's something going on, and we're going to figure it out, and it's going to be curable. Versus if I was a doctor only, I might have thought not necessarily the best possible outcome.
Hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, or HCM, is a heart muscle disease. That's what cardiomyopathy means, and is characterized by increased thickness of the muscular walls of the heart. That's what hypertrophic means. But the heart muscle is not just thick, but it's also abnormal, with increased amount of disorganization of the muscle cells and also an increased amount of scar tissue. And so this can lead to patients developing symptoms, most commonly difficulty exercising. People with HCM have a wide variety of symptoms that they can experience. All individuals with HCM are at increased risk for dangerous heart rhythm disturbances, and it's an important cause of sudden cardiac death or cardiac arrest in young individuals.
This is Preston's artwork. This was in process when he passed away, and it's called Born a Leader. Preston had sort of come to be a little bit of a leader in the dorm, in his grade, and self-identified himself as a leader, and this was artwork that he was working on, a self-portrait. Well, I think the most important thing that we obviously want people to realize is like this can happen to anyone. Like he was just 15 years old playing a basketball game, but I think that our end goal is for the heart condition to be more widely talked about. PS3 was a nickname that Preston had for himself when he was playing football at Brooks High School. He developed this nickname PS3, and after when he was hospitalized and we were, hoping 100% that there would be a recovery, one of my daughter's friends designed the logo for PS3, and then it was adapted by his school, Brooks, and then his former middle school, Fezzidan, and they both developed PS3 logos in their school colors for Preston. And he loved being the kicker for Brooks, and had a famous offsides kick that ended up being recovered and winning and getting a touchdown for winning the game. So it sort of symbolizes our hope for him, after his arrest, and sort of symbolizes his love. I would love for people to be able to respond the way we know how to respond if there's a fire. We know to drop and roll. And ideally, if there's a cardiac event with a youth athlete, I would love for people to know immediately what to do, or to even recognize that it is a cardiac event and start checking a pulse, calling for an AED, calling for someone to start CPR.
There just needs to be a lot greater public awareness of AEDs, and it should be at the level of a fire extinguisher. Everybody knows if we see a fire, we look around for a fire extinguisher. It should be the same thing for AEDs. If somebody collapses, we should look around for an AED, and it should be easy to find.
Speaking from an athlete's perspective, like always listen to your body. Like if you don't feel right, like something's probably wrong. There's kind of the stigma that athletes just have to be strong and like people want to push through their injuries.
Preston, you know, he would want other kids to be able to play sports, enjoy sports, and know that the adults and teammates around him are prepared if there was an emergency. So if you're prepared, there's nothing to be, to be fearful about. When you run the marathon, if you do your 20-mile run, you know you're ready for the 26. You haven't run 26, but if you do that 20 miles, you know you can run the 26. So if people have been looked at an AED, people have taken CPR, if something happens, they're prepared and they're not scared because they've seen it before.
If you'd like to find out more about Preston or attend the event to benefit his foundation, it's on June 11th at 6 p.m. at Cyclorama, and NBC 10 Boston is a proud media partner. I'll be there on the red carpet, and Glenn Jones will be the MC. So for tickets and more information, just go to PS3 Casino Night.